Tune into Game Time this Thursday at 7 p.m. for the Ford Game of the Week, Union versus Edmond North.
Bouncy ball. Look, it's almost alive.
Advertising used to be simple. Make an ad, put it on TV, get results. Today, with all the new viewing options,
It's a lot more complex. At Cox Media, we make the complex simple. With precise targeting, transparency, and automation, we connect advertisers to audiences. Anyone, anywhere, on any screen. Advertising simplified. Contact Cox Media to learn more.
Two teams that are synonymous with Class B state titles meet tonight in week number 4 of the high school football season. Welcome to Game Time on YurView. This is the Iowa Western Game of the Week between Skutt Catholic and Elkhorn alongside John Schreiner. I'm Gary Sharp. Megan Scolio, the third member of our crew, will join us here momentarily. Only week number 4, John. Skutt Catholic is 2-1, lone loss to the number 1 team in Class B, Elkhorn South. Elkhorn off to a 3-0 start. I know it's early, it's a non-district game, but this has a feel of a very important game for the postseason tonight.
Well, it feels like a postseason game, honestly, because these are two teams that are perennially right there at the end of the season playing to get to Lincoln in that state championship game. And is there a better matchup than these two over the last 10 years? You might say Elkhorn South, Elkhorn, Elkhorn South, Skutt, but it's those three teams matching up every year. Those are the games we look forward to in Class B.
For Skutt Catholic, as we mentioned, their lone losses to Elkhorn South in week number 2. They've done it really defensively. You take out that game, John, they've only given up 1 touchdown in the other 2 games, and it's led by a guy that's all over the record books, Jake Archer.
Yeah, Jake Archer plays both ways, and that's going to be a theme for our key players tonight. But Jake Archer has a chance this year to break the school record for tackles. He was 95 tackle points away when the season started. He's got 29 through 3 games, so well on pace to do that. He's going to play fullback. He averages 8 yards a carry. Just a monster for Skutt. Another monster two-way player for Elkhorn, and we've seen him kind of grow up over the last couple of years as this is a veteran Antler team, is Brett Lange. Yeah, Brett Lange, we talked to Mark Wortman about him, said he's grown up between his junior and senior year. He plays defensive end and slot receiver at 195 pounds, if you can believe it. He's going to be a load to handle on the outside for these Skutt corners. This should be a fun one tonight. Skutt Catholic and Elkhorn. We'll find out more about the new star for Mark Wortman's Elkhorn Antlers when you return. It's Game Time on YurView, the Iowa Western Game of the Week. Skutt Catholic and Elkhorn.
Schedule your campus visit today. Iowa Western. The world is waiting.
Warm day in Omaha going to lead to a beautiful night of football. Skutt Catholic and Elkhorn, a matchup in Class B. For Elkhorn, their head coach, Mark Wortman, has been around for a long time. Nearly 4 decades as the head coach of the Antlers. He's seen a lot. State titles, state runner-up, guys that have gone on to the NFL. But for the first time in his career, John, he has a freshman running back, and Aiden Young is going to be a good one. 129 yards last week against Beatrice. Megan Scolio, the third member of our crew, has more on his progress.
As Coach Wortman has been with Elkhorn for 38 years, and for the first time in his tenure, he's been starting a freshman at tailback. That freshman is Aiden Young, who's played in 3 varsity games already. He tallied 129 yards on 9 carries and 2 touchdowns last week in their win over Beatrice. According to an article in the Omaha World Herald, Young credits 2 senior running backs, Ram Gastali and Jacob Pickering, on his performance. Keep an eye out for him this evening.
Thank you, Megan. We look forward forward to hearing more from you as the evening goes along. Should be a good one. Kickoff is next. Skutt Catholic and Elkhorn. It's game time on YurView in the Iowa Western Game of the Week.
On offense.
Bouncy ball. Look, it's almost alive. Advertising used to be simple. Make an ad, put it on TV, get results. Today, with all the new viewing options,
It's a lot more complex. At Cox Media, we make the complex simple. With precise targeting, transparency, and automation, we connect advertisers to audiences. Anyone, anywhere, on any screen. Advertising simplified. Contact Cox Media to learn more.
You're the decision maker, weighing every option to make the smartest choice. That's why you start with Nebraska Medicine, an entire network of top providers working together to keep you healthy. From extraordinary primary care to world-leading research and treatments, so you can be confident everyone's health is in good hands. The state's most comprehensive care in 19 locations. Nebraska Medicine.
You're watching this week's Game Time on YurView, the Iowa Western Game of the Week. Elkhorn and Skutt Catholic. Elkhorn, that antler red, number 4 in the state at 3-0. Last year in this matchup, they won at Skutt, a game that you saw right here. So tonight we come to you from Elkhorn High. Game time on YurView, the Iowa Western Game of the Week. Hope you enjoyed last night, that thriller between Millard North and Creighton Prep. John Schreiner is joining me here. Let's take a look at some of these keys to tonight's game. Again, I think this is a very important game 4 weeks into the season.
Well, it certainly is. And for Skutt, the keys for me, win one-on-one. We know what Elkhorn likes to do. They're going to play a ton of man coverage in the secondary. They're going to try to stop the run, win some of those one-on-one battles on the outside, and make some big plays in the passing game to loosen up that defense. Key number 2, ibuprofen. You know what Mark Wortman's going to do. For the better part of 40 years, he's done the same thing. He's going to line up in the eye and run it straight at you and dare you to stop it. So put on your big boy pants and have some Advil handy for after the game.
Elkhorn only completed 1 pass last week in the win over Beatrice. Let's take a look at the keys for Mark Wortman's Antler team that, as I mentioned, 3-0 coming off that win over Beatrice.
Keys for Elkhorn, take the points. As you mentioned in the open, Skutt has given up only 1 touchdown in the 2 games they've won this year. You're going to probably need a couple of field goals because your drives are going to stall out. Take the points, don't get cute. 2, load the box. Okay, 2 different running backs for Skutt. The tailback and the fullback, Benzak and Jake Archer, averaging 7 and 8 yards a carry respectively. Load up the box, stop the run, force them to make plays in the passing game. That's how you win this game.
Skutt won 45-0 against Gross to open up the year. They lost 42-7 to 2-time defending Class B champion Elkhorn South, then bounced back last week and won 44-7 against Creek. Expect the game to be played ground level. You get a look at Matt Turman, the former Nebraska walk-on quarterback, 15th year, started in 2002. Quite an impressive record that includes 3 state titles. From the Turman family, the dad and his brother. I'll tell you more as we go along. He's excited to see what his team can do tonight. They also have to be very physical and tackle. You get a look at the Elkhorn sideline. Elkhorn won the toss. They deferred to the second half. So they will kick off. As we are set. Good crowd on hand. This has turned into a nice little rivalry over the last decade and a half. And we are underway on a Friday night in the Metro for football, and the touchback. That's how we will start. We'll look at the Skutt Catholic offense. Last year, pretty prolific. Ryan Moritz was thrown to Christian Banker. They were putting up all kinds of points. Well, a brand new quarterback this year in Ben Sievers, 16 of 34 to begin the year, 209 yards. As we talked about in the open, the key player, Jake Archer, physical running back. They will pound the football at you. An offense that is still trying to find their way. And they're returning 4 starters off last year's team that was knocked out in the state semifinals, a 10-3 mark. Again, Ben Sievers, the quarterback. senior, 175 pounds. The big tight end Skradsky in motion, sets, and now the toss coming to the near side. Ben Zach breaks a tackle, maybe gets a yard. Zach, a senior. So this is a veteran team. This is a Skutt team that probably has more experience than Matt Turman's had in his 15 years as the head Skyhawk.
Yeah, a lot of seniors. You notice that when you look at the starting lineups, just a couple of juniors on that offense, and then one sophomore on the offensive line, and then on defense, it is almost all seniors. You're going senior, senior, senior across the front. Tons of seniors on this Skutt team. Sievers keeps it, and he is going absolutely nowhere. Maybe got back to the line of scrimmage before he was brought down. And this is right now you're seeing the recipe for both teams. Okay, Elkhorn needs to have good tackling and they need to have a lot of players at the point of attack. Skutt, they need to have a physical running game and try to wear down this Elkhorn defense, get into that fourth quarter in a close game, and hope all those body punches have landed and made a difference.
We're talking about the Skutt defense. This is a Elkhorn defense. They'll give up 34 points in 3 games in the first third down of the evening. Third down at 8. Sievers in the pistol. And the snap back to it. Looks right. Now steps up into the pocket. Fires it downfield. And it is well wide of the intended wide receiver. He was looking for Ryan McCormick on the near side. And so 3 and out. And Skutt will have to punt the football away.
Well, that's just what the doctor ordered from that Elkhorn defense.
Skutt offense that will now regroup after 2 yards in 3 plays. Ben Sievers, the quarterback. We documented Jake Archer. J.D. Darrow is a speedy wide receiver. We'll talk more about the Skutt offense when they return. But now Skutt will punt the football away. And not a very good punt. It is short. Going to take a bounce. But this punt will end up being just 18 yards. And Elkhorn will start the night on offense with an impressive-looking freshman, Aiden Young, at the 37-yard line. So correct, it's a 15-yard punt.
And special teams, not real special right there. Big kick into the wind, hangs up in the air, and now the Antlers getting exactly what they want. Good field position, chance to keep this thing on the ground and take an early lead.
Quarterback is Isaac Hawkins. He is a junior. Elkhorn has had their ups and downs the last few years because they've had a lot of youth. Now they're a little bit older. And here's Aiden Young. Gets 2 yards before he is pushed back. Billy Higgins led the charge for Skutt. So we get a look at the Elkhorn offense. Again, Isaac Hawkins last week, 1 of 5 against Beatrice. Aiden Young, we'll mention his name a lot. Pretty good wide receivers and a very good offensive line.
Certainly.
Led by a guy, if you were playing his last name in Scrabble, you would have a lot of points. Grant
Kapanowski.
Easy for you to say, Hachu. After the pickup of 2 for Aiden Young, first freshman ever to start at running back under Mark Warman. He gets the toss, and he is hit immediately, and he has introduced himself to Mr. Billy Higgins, who has made 2 stops on the first 2 carries by Aiden Young. And now this brings up a 3rd and long for Elkhorn, an offense that likes to run on the ground out of that I formation.
Yeah, watch Higgins. You're going to see him just flash into your picture right here. Comes from the outside in, plays it well. Avoids the block and says, bring it, run it right at me.
And this is a defense that allowed Moses Bryant, the talented running back for Elkhorn South, to go for 201 yards on the ground. But outside of that, they have been in lockdown mode. 3rd down, Hawkins keeps it, chased out of the pocket. He's going to try and make something of it. And he took a big, big hit. Ryan Trout, Jake Archer, right along the Skutt sideline. There is a flag down as Hawkins took the hit, lost his helmet, and Todd Kerr with the first penalty of the night, personal foul, hit to the head on Skutt, and that'll be a 1st down for Elkhorn. And Matt Turman not happy. We'll get a look at the play here to see where the hit came to the Hawkins noggin.
Well, Skradsky comes in and he's going to grab the jersey, which just leaves Hawkins wide open. And that hit comes in a little bit high, knocks the helmet off of Hawkins. Just like to see that hit come a little bit lower.
So the hit to the head is a 15-yard penalty, and it will give Elkhorn a new set of downs as they'll place it at the 15-yard line.
So costly. That Skutt defense was about to get off the field, and now the big personal foul penalty sets Elkhorn up inside the red zone.
This is a Skutt football program. 3 of the last 4 years they've been in the Class B final. 2 wins and lost last year to Elkhorn South. New quarterback in the game, Parker Gutschall, and handoff up the middle to Josh Schmutz for minimal yardage. We do know, as we've seen enough of Elkhorn football, whether we've been broadcasting it or playing against them, they will rotate a lot of players. They will rotate a lot of players against this Skutt defense. Again, Jake Archer is the one that stands out. He's got a bright future at the next level. Jackson Gordon and Billy Higgins will be an issue in that back 7. Gutschall, senior quarterback, hands it off to Young, running left, and there's Higgins again with a solo tackle.
How about Billy Higgins to start this first series? Playing that strong side outside backer, takes on the lead blocker, comes up, squares up the tailback, and takes him to the turf. Great technique on the tackle by Billy Higgins.
This is an area that Matt Turman knew would be pretty good this year on defense. 10 returning starters. Skutt 2-1, ranked number 6 in the World Herald poll. And it's 3rd down and long again. Last 3rd down, Hawkins absorbed a hit to the head and he had to leave the game. And the pass is incomplete. From here, it would be a 32-yard field goal. And the field goal unit is out for Elkhorn. We will keep an eye. Isaac Hawkins again, after taking that hit to the head on 3rd down, lost his helmet, went to the sidelines, did not come back in for that next set of plays.
Which isn't too strange for Mark Wortman. He usually platoons 2 sets of backs. So we would expect to see more than one.
Brandon Guters from 30. It is good. So Elkhorn puts points on the board. It's game time on YurView.
Okay, it's decision time. I want to experience a 4-year college in 2 years. I want to live on campus but get to my career faster. I want to get started now. Find your path at iwcc.edu and get hands-on, real-world experience. Start now at Iowa Western.
Where will the next generation of caregivers come from? Who trains them? Who mentors them? Who inspires them? At CHI Health, we believe in the power of education. As partners with Creighton University, we are advancing a new era of academic health care. We're researching and collaborating to bring more minds to every case, every patient, every day. We're giving the future of care a new home. CHI Health. Imagine that.
Brandon Gruder's 30-yard field goal. The first crooked number on the scoreboard, and his kickoff will be another touchback. Expectations, John, always high at Skutt Catholic, and it's not just football, it is throughout their entire athletic program. They continually win all class titles in B, but especially in football. Matt Turman, 15 years at the helm, has set the bar extremely high. Titles in 05, 13, and 14. Nice story that you had a chance to talk with Matt that people can find on YurView.com right now. Not right as we're doing the game. Maybe during a timeout you can read the story.
Well, pull it up on your laptop if you're watching on your phone.
Second series, and Archer with a blast all the way up to the 33. So that's a pickup of 13 for Jake Archer, who seems like he's been part of the Skutt program for all 15 years that Matt Turman's been the head coach. We promise you it's only been for a few years, but last year, All-Stater as a linebacker, he's getting an opportunity to run the football, and he's running it well with authority.
And that's one of the staple plays that we've seen from Matt Turman's bunch in the past few years we've been doing these games is they'll line the fullback next to the quarterback out of the shotgun and give that little inside handoff. It's been a good play for him.
Zach, the carry over left tackle. Pick up 3 yards. They have a plethora of running backs, Skutt has. You know, we used to always think that even though Matt Turman, college quarterback, but remember the offense that he ran, that all Skutt did would run the football. And then last year showed up when they had one of the best pitch and catch combos the Class B has seen. Ryan Moritz threw for 2,600 yards. Christian Banker caught 1,300 of those yards. Christian Banker became a preferred walk-on at Nebraska. Now the option here, and Zach's got a hole. Good job by Sievers to hold on to it for a while. Zach won't go down until he's into Antler territory. That's a first down carry for Ben Zach.
That's a little throwback play, isn't it? What would you expect from Matt Turman, but to see the triple option, nice fake on that inside to the fullback, and then a great read to make that pitch. Pickering was caught in between. Great play by Sievers to make him commit and convert the pitch. Nice play.
His former college coach, Tom Osborne, would be very happy with that play. You said that Coach Osborne still stays in contact with Coach Turman on a weekly basis. Zach has stood up in the hole as he ran first into A.J. Hegeman, who is another of these two-way stalwarts for the Elkhorn Antlers. Sideline warning on Skutt. Todd Kerr is our referee tonight in a Class B showdown between Skutt and Elkhorn. Last year, Elkhorn won this game 31-15. We are on the western edge of town as you get a good look at Matt Turman. Started in 2002, and you know, this game against Elkhorn is kind of a turning point in his career as the Skutt coach. Didn't go so well his first year. Second year, they upset a really good Elkhorn team, and as they say, the rest is history. Jake Archer with a carry. Graham Gastali grab it onto his foot, but Archer has a nice pickup. Punishing fullback who's got some speed. He was at Friday Night Lights camp in Lincoln during the summer, and the Nebraska staff really got excited about the future of Jake Archer. They're going to follow his progress throughout the year. He most recently received a Division II offer from Sioux Falls University in South Dakota. Now third down and short. Who do they go to? That man, and that man has a first down.
Yeah, and when you don't need much, you got a 205-pound fullback. Hand it off and let him grind it out. Not an extremely well-blocked play, but Archer able to tug three players with him as he goes for the first down. Great run.
Last week, in a 44-7 win over Crete, Skutt ran for 275 yards. The drive continues with another first down, down 3-0. Zach taken down in the backfield. Josh Schmutz busting in to bring him down, the leading tackler off last year's team, with a big stop. It'll be second down and long.
Well, we've been giving praise to Archer, but he misses this. The linebacker comes inside, and Archer has his eyes outside. The danger's coming from the inside. The fullback's got to pick up that linebacker coming in. First man danger is fullback's responsibility.
Well, Tom Osborne was happy with a little option football on Skutt. Chris Weber, linebacker for Nebraska, who starts as a captain, would be happy with the Josh Schmutz play. And Sievers on a keep. And Sievers with a first down carry.
And been running inside with Archer. And then just pull that ball out on the option fake, and there's nobody home. Linebacker got caught peeking inside. You saw it right there. Pickering got pinched down inside, and Sievers just found the outside. Wide open spaces. Big first down for Skutt.
To be able to do a little bit of everything is the Skutt quarterback. They've had a long history of very talented quarterbacks through the air and on the ground. Jake Archer has 4. It's kind of a methodical drive after the Elkhorn field goal. Drive started at the 20-yard line, and now on second down and 6. The Skutt Catholic Skyhawks will snap the ball from the 20-yard line.
Boy, it feels like these two fullbacks who also play inside linebacker have been butting heads already a bunch of times tonight. Schmutz and Archer have just had some monster collisions on both sides of the ball.
You can hear them at home. Zach cuts it back on the toss play, and there's a flag down as he goes down. Boy, good burst of speed and a nice change of direction. Looks like there'll be yardage added on after Zach was hit. No. Block in the back on Skutt, so that'll erase the positivity. And Zach
See if we can find it. No, I don't see it there. It's right there at the end of the play. Wide receiver coming from across the other side of the field. Maybe it was one of those big offensive linemen downfield. Just got a little shove in the back right at the end. Really unnecessary to the outcome of the play. I mean, it's a costly one.
Matt Turman waiting for the ball to be placed. They put it back at the 20. 3:13 to go. In the first quarter, Elkhorn with a 3-0 lead. The last 5 years, Skutt Catholic 54-11. Last couple of years in Class B, it's either been Skutt or Elkhorn South. This is the year that Elkhorn High would like to regain their stature in Class B. Sievers keeps it, and he's going nowhere. Gang tackled by the interior of the Elkhorn defense. Maybe got a yard. The quarterback read. That was not going to happen from the start, whether he handed it off or not. Good play by the defensive line.
Yeah, Zach Headley, defensive end for Elkhorn, just crushed everything down on the inside and took away any lane that Sievers was looking for.
So 3rd down and 5. Second time that Skutt has had the ball. They were forced into a 3-and-out to start the game. Sievers play action, throws deep to the end zone, and it is incomplete. What a dive by Luke Lewandowski. Couldn't get a foot down, and it'll be 4th down and a decision to be made by Matt Turman.
Boy, this is a banker play from a year ago, isn't it? He made so many of these last year, but Lewandowski just can't quite drag the toe. Nice effort, great catch. Didn't quite get the toe tap.
Mentioned Christian Banker earlier in his strong senior season. Now walk-on at Nebraska, Trent Hickson, who was a stellar lineman for Skutt, was a preferred walk-on for Nebraska as well. Skutt will go for it. 4th down and 5 for the 19. In the pistol, Sievers hands it off to Archer, follows his block. He's got more than a first down. He's inside of the 10, he's to the 6.
Great blocking up front. Just a monster hole. You're going to see it. Everything gets blown out of the inside. Got a guard pulling around, leading. Great block on the outside from Darrow to take the cornerback into the middle of the field. Green pastures for the big fullback.
Former Husker Matt Verzal, who's an assistant on Matt Turman's staff in charge of the line, would be very happy with that play. Former center from Grand Island. Guard, whatever they wanted Matt to play. Negative yardage here as Zach is pushed back. It'll be 2nd down and goal.
Well, it's a game that's being played a lot like the one we saw last night, Gary. A lot of ball on the ground, hammering it straight ahead. Quick first quarter. This first quarter is almost over. Feels like we've been up here for about 10 minutes.
Hope you enjoyed last night. Prep held off Millard North. Play action. Sievers rolling to his right. Looking to the end zone. Fires into the end zone. It's caught. Touchdown. TJ Skradsky, the big tight end, hauls it in. And a good play by Sievers. He sold it and then threw it only where Skradsky could catch it.
Well, safety Cole Alfrey was there, but he's trailing the tight end. You're going to see it come across the middle. Alfrey can't get his head around. He just dives late, but can't quite get the hand in there, trailing the tight end, and first touchdown of the night comes through the air for the Skyhawks.
Joey White, who set a school record last week with 3 field goals, is in for the PAT. 80-yard drive for Skutt Catholic, and is up, and it is good off the right toe of Joey White as TJ Skradsky catches the touchdown pass for Ben Sievers. And Skutt Catholic takes a 7-3 lead again, an 80-yard drive. Some key 3rd down conversions. And a little bit of everything on that drive as Matt Turman calls his own plays.
Yeah, you saw the option, you saw some fullback run, you saw some tailback off tackle, little fullback out of the shotgun, and we get the tight end crossing route for the touchdown. Nice mix, nice balance for the Skyhawks.
You're going to see here just a little bit of the variety of this drive. Skradsky, a senior, perfect size for a tight end. Boy, the tight end position in the state is really good right now. Archer Made a lot of Jake Archer, and then this is the play that kind of, whoa, I see what you're doing, Matt Turman, on the outside.
Right. Setting that thing up with fullback dive, fullback dive, fullback dive, and then a couple option plays were really the big ones on the drive for Skutt, and then that big third down conversion out of the shotgun that set up that touchdown pass.
This is a non-district game. So here's the touchdown pass, 7 yards out to TJ Skratsky. That gives Skutt Catholic a 7-3 lead. 70 seconds of the first quarter. And a short kickoff from White, and it will be returned. And it'll be returned for very good yardage. Jacob Pickering with a good return. He had an 86-yard kickoff return for a touchdown last week. And this kickoff return is out to the 40-yard line. And we will take a look to see if Isaac Hawkins comes back out. And he will. Absorbed a hit to the head in the last series. Had to leave. The drive ended in a field goal, but Isaac Hawkins, the junior quarterback for the Antlers, is back out there.
And the Skutt defense has been bringing the lumber early, and a lot of it's been Billy Higgins putting the hammer down. You're going to see a couple of big ones from him right here.
Pickering with the carry on the lead handoff. Falls forward for about 3. Under a minute to go in the first quarter. Elkhorn, 5 state titles. Mark Wortman, 5 runner-ups. School's been around since 1949 on a beautiful night for football on a Friday in Omaha. We are on the western edge of Omaha in Elkhorn, where the 2 Elkhorn Class B schools, well, make it all 3, are all unbeaten. Little misdirection. Cole Elfrey, it looked like it had a potential for some big yardage, but a good job by Skutt to string it out to the sideline.
Yeah, had a lead blocker out there in Quinn Sexton, a junior guard, pulling out in front, but Skutt found a way to get some players at the point of attack and shut that thing down. And like you said, it looked like it was going to go.
Elkhorn South, Elkhorn, Mount Michael, all in Class B, all unbeaten. 3rd down and 4. Isaac Hawkins looks over the 4-man front. Tosses it to Pickering, and Higgins took off his shoe, and I don't think that Pickering is going to have enough for a first down. Boy, Higgins is hitting you in front, he's hitting you on the side, and he's stealing your shoe. He's set for a big night. And it will be 4th down when you return. Done with 1. Skutt Catholic 7, Elkhorn 3. It's game time on YurView.
Charles Drew selected Cox Business because in the healthcare arena, it is imperative that we have transfer of data that is reliable, flexible, and fast. On average, Charles Drew Health Center has about 33,000 phone calls a month. With IP-Centrics, the system was very intuitive, and it allowed us to be reactionary to the needs of our patients. Cox Business Solutions has allowed us to be more efficient and effective in meeting the needs of the greater Omaha community. Cox Business is a great partner.
At Woodhouse Auto Family, the buying experience is different, and the over 27,000 customers who bought from us last year know why. Our knowledgeable sales staff know the brands, the products, and take time to get to know you and guide you to your perfect vehicle. And that experience continues with any of our 16 service locations, and with trained advisors and technicians to help you maintain your vehicle. Experience the difference. Purchase with confidence. This is Woodhouse.
When kids have internet access at home, they're more successful in the classroom. If your child is a K-12 student and your family receives government assistance, you could qualify for discounted Cox high-speed internet for only $9.95 a month. To enroll, call 855-222-3252 or visit cox.com/C2C. And while you're there, check out the Cox Digital Academy for educational tools and web tips for the whole family.
3 of the last 6 Class B state titles have been won by these 2 teams. Skutt twice, Elkhorn in 2011 as we begin the second quarter. From Elkhorn High, there's John Schreiner. I'm Gary Sharp, our Game Time crew. And on 4th and short, Skutt is able to stop Elkhorn as Pickering had nowhere to go as that line just collapsed. And they turn the ball over on downs in their own territory.
Yeah, and Archer's right in the backfield and making the play, beats the block, gets a hand on Pickering. Great play from the senior linebacker, and that is just a small sample of why he is so highly regarded and why he is set to break the school record for tackles this year.
He needed 95 coming in to break the record. He's had 24 through 3 games. I think he's going to do it. Last year, he had 158 tackles. Sievers to put it up, going deep down the field. Receiver open, touchdown! Right into the waiting arms of Colton Sudbeck.
Wow. Quick change defense. We hear a lot about it. When the ball gets turned over, defense has to come out, maybe a little bit unexpectedly. Here you go. Play action fake, behind the corner. Safety doesn't get over. Nice catch. Touchdown, Skutt.
Sudbeck had a step on Elfrey, and Sievers put it right there. And back-to-back touchdown passes by Ben Sievers. And just like that, Skutt has rattled off 13. Joey White would like to make it 14 unanswered points from 48 yards out, and the PAT is up and good, and all of a sudden it is 14-3 Skutt. So good defensive stop, and you're absolutely right, John. That just probably is a shock to the system. Not thinking that Skutt would put it up. Matt Turman rolled the dice, went long, and results in a touchdown. Second touchdown pass of the night for Sievers.
Not what we expected. 2 touchdowns through the air for Skutt to open proceedings here, but boy, now Elkhorn finds themselves in a little bit of a hole, and you have to wonder about that decision to go for it on 4th down. You're only down 7-3, second quarter, and then this happens. The ball was in the air for a long time, but Sudbeck behind everybody.
And you wonder how much discussion went in. I got to imagine it was pretty animated, because you not only had the end of the first quarter, so you had extra time to discuss what you were going to do, as Joey White will kick off. And this will find its way into the end zone. So the motto this year for Elkhorn football is "We are what we repeatedly do." And that is pound the football, but now down 14-3. Isaac Hawkins only threw 5 passes last week. Be interested to see if they just stick with the plan. It's still early. We are 1 minute and 13 seconds into the second quarter.
Well, and now it's response time. The Elkhorn offense has to come back out, and they need points on the board, you'd have to believe, out of this drive, because if you give the ball right back over to Skutt and they're able to score again, you find yourself down 3 scores early in this one. That is not a good position to be in, especially against this offense that can just smother the life out of a game.
And they are keying on Aiden Young. That is only a pickup of a yard for the freshman, the first freshman ever to start at running back under Mark Wortman. Must be something about the first name. Remember, Aiden Stiles seemed like he was a running back at Elkhorn forever. And now Aiden Young, 155 pounds. Get a look at him there. He has not had the kind of open lanes that he had last week against Beatrice when he burst onto the scene with a 129-yard 2-touchdown effort. Second down and 9. Hawkins looking at that 4-man front. Fakes the handoff, now rolls to the near side. And his pass is dropped. Wanted Lange, and Lange couldn't hold on to it. And again, it sets up a 3rd down and long on the coverage as Ryan Trout, the senior defensive back.
Cool. And this, you feel like the Elkhorn offense is just out of sync a little bit. They just haven't put it together on the last couple of possessions, and now what feels like a monster 3rd down with only a minute gone in the second quarter right here.
Elkhorn 3-0. Wins over Plattsmouth, Blair, and Beatrice. We will see them later in the season when they play host to Elkhorn South, as a timeout is taken by Elkhorn. 3rd down and 9. They will have a decision to make on what they want to do here. You don't want to put yourself in a bad situation. You're already down 14-3 in back-to-back strikes by Skutt. You can look at Mark Wortman, 38 years as the head coach, 336 victories, only 77 losses. How about that? Tom Jaworski, who we talked about last night during the Creighton Pratt Miller North game, is the all-time leader in the state of Nebraska with 343. I think Mark Wortman has won every award for coaching and teaching.
Yeah, and why wouldn't he? You talk to him, and you know, as we get to do in, you know, pregame and when we're doing our preparation, and we go down in the field and see him, just couldn't be nicer. He couldn't be a better guy to work with.
And those 400+ games have all been right here. You know who else has been right here? His wife, Deb, has been to every game since 1980. And the streak continues tonight. I noticed her up in the stands before the game. So 3rd down and 9. And they will call pass play. Hawkins fires it deep down the field. The receiver open, catch, 1st down. Matt Hodeby with the catch, and a good job. See the ball, make sure you're in bounds. Hawkins did a good job of leading him, and that is a huge play for Elkhorn.
And it felt like a much needed big play for this offense to light the fire a little bit.
Again, Hawkins isn't asked very much to throw the football. Just 1 completion for 5 yards last week. But that big completion put the ball into Skutt territory. 14-3 game. Hawkins, miscommunication with his running back Young, and then he is thrown to the ground. Jake Archer whipped Isaac Hawkins down like he was wrestling for the legendary, now retired wrestling coach Brad Hildebrand at Skutt.
Well, you're just going to get some of this when you're starting a freshman at tailback. There's going to be some miscommunications, and things are going to go awry at times, but you just have to take the good with the bad. And unfortunately, it puts you in a 2nd and 15 kind of situation here.
And we'll go more current. Thomas Gilman, the former Skutt wrestler who is now on the world stage, University of Iowa product, would be very happy with that takedown by Archer. Again, not much yardage on the ground. Lange maybe for about 3 yards, and again, it'll be 3rd down and long for this Antler offense in red. The Kelly green, silver, and black of Skutt Catholic. Isaac Hawkins checks the sideline. So much history with this Elkhorn program. So many names, most recently, that played here, have gone on to the University of Nebraska. We mentioned Chris Weber, starting middle linebacker for Nebraska, is also a captain in his senior year. You got Jay Moore, who played here, played at Nebraska, played in the NFL. Spencer Long, who's now with the Washington Redskins as a starter in the offensive line. Trevor Roach, who was here tonight, former linebacker for the Huskers, briefly in the NFL. Ball on the turf, may have been down. Nope. They will say that the running back was not down in recovery by Skutt. On 3rd down and long, the play looked discombobulated from the start.
Yeah, just a bad snap. Didn't quite get it into his hands. The ball's kind of bouncing around a little bit. Nobody knows really what's happening. And one of those Skutt defensive linemen just said, look what I found. And after the big play now, big turnover, and it's quick change defense again.
Well, that's the Elkhorn defense to blow up, down 14-3. The last 2 passes and the last 2 plays for Skutt have resulted in Ben Seaver touchdowns. Higgins is tripped up on his first carry of the night.
Well, we've seen Higgins on the defensive side come up with some big plays, getting his shot now to try out his legs on the offense. But this possession defensively for Elkhorn, real big. You can't afford to put yourself in a 21-3 hole heading into the half. It's not going to be the formula for success.
This series, they're spelling Jake Archer, so Wells and Higgins are in the backfield. Receivers rolling out, has some time, looks downfield, fires downfield, and it's caught. First down. Ryan Trout makes the catch. And he churns all the way to the 40. That's a pickup of 17.
Well, I don't know if it was miscommunication between Hotovy and Allfree out here, but they had two guys covering one receiver, and the underneath man was uncovered. You see 17 and 6 in red, both to the outside. Somebody's got to pick up the short route. Defense needs to tighten it up.
Job by Trout just to sit down. First carry of the night for Sean Wells. Wells still carrying tacklers who were tugging at the football at his shoulder pads. Sean Wells, this 175-pound running back, a senior, just keeps running. Trying to pull his helmet off.
Well, he ran through the tackle of Ram Gastali, who we've seen for the last 3 years playing defense for this Elkhorn football team, and not an easy one to get away from. So good run there by Wells.
14-3 Skutt. They will play a lot of players. Higgins with a carry right up the middle. There's a flag down late as Higgins goes down with Grant Kabanowski on top of it, the all-state lineman. And a personal foul on Elkhorn.
They've got the gun pointed directly at their own foot right now, and just giving away free yards, turning the ball over. Maybe it's best if this half just runs out and they get to the locker room and try to reformulate and head into that second half with a new idea of how they want to play this game, because so far it's just been a litany of mistakes for the guys in red.
Haven't been able to do much. They drove down the field and got a field goal. Since then, got stopped on downs, the fumble. Now Skutt, after the penalty and the long walk-off, the 11-yard line, already up 14-3. And against the Skutt defense, which outside of giving up 42 to Elkhorn South, has only allowed 1 touchdown in the other 2 games. 21 would seem like the Himalayas. Higgins cuts it back through a seam to the end zone. He dives and he's in from 11 out.
That's just great vision from Higgins. You're going to see when we catch this replay what a nice job he does of pressing the outside and setting up that cutback lane for himself. Watch, he's going to take the handoff and he presses, boom, cuts back inside. Just creates that seam for himself by showing the defense the outside run and cutting back underneath the flow. Really nice run from Higgins.
3 straight touchdown drives by Skutt after they went 3 and out to start the game. White's PAT into the sky is good. 21-3. It's game time on YurView. And Billy Higgins has introduced himself to the audience.
At DiVentures, we want to create a full-service customer experience. Cox Business, as our technology partner, does exactly that. The team at Cox Business came in, took a look at our business, and recommended top-notch solutions. With IP-Centrics, we have a managed, scalable solution to meet all of our customer needs. We get hundreds of phone calls a day, thousands over the course of a week. Because we have Cox Business, we can focus on what we love to do, being on the water and in the water.
Where will the next generation of caregivers come from? Who trains them? Who mentors them? Who inspires them? At CHI Health, we believe in the power of education. As partners with Creighton University, we are advancing a new era of academic health care. We're researching and collaborating to bring more minds to every case, every patient, every day. We're giving the future of care a new home. CHI Health. Imagine that.
Kickoff return. Ram Gastali trying to help out the offense all the way out to the 27-yard line. First time that Elkhorn has been able to return a kick, and now they're going to need to put the ball in the end zone. Down 21-3. 3 straight scoring drives for Skutt. The last one of Billy Higgins, an 11-yard touchdown run.
Well, we said the last possession for the Antlers was a big one. This one, monumental. If you come up empty-handed here and leave Skutt any time on the clock, I mean, it starts to feel like that mountain is getting too high to climb.
Especially for an Elkhorn offense that is more likely to wear down the opponent than to be big play through the air. Colin Fritz with his first carry. Sophomore fullback. We can say on one hand that Elkhorn is older, but they also are younger. There are quite a few sophomores that are seeing quality minutes. And then you throw in the freshman running back, Aiden Young. And a transition for Elkhorn in the last few years. But they're working their way back into the conversation in Class B. A town that houses the two-time defending Class B champion. Hawkins out of the backfield. Fritz hit him in the hands and he dropped it, and he would have had first down yardage.
Gonna want that one back because Fritz had snuck into a little seam between the linebacker and the defensive end. Had a little bit of room to turn up, possibly pick up a first down. Instead, it's 3rd and long.
And we've been saying that a lot here in the first half. 3rd down and long. The Antlers sideline trying to come up with the right play. Down 21-3. Nearly midway through the second quarter. Hawkins under center. Allfrey in motion. Hawkins will keep it on the play action. Goes deep down the field, and it will be incomplete. For a moment, he had his intended wide receiver, but it sailed wide. And Elkhorn will have to punt the football, and Scott's going to get it back in really good field position again. Already up 21-3, and they've scored 21 unanswered.
Drew Piquet had beaten the defensive back, Jake Zeppelin. Zeppelin takes a peek, and when he looks back, Piquet ran by him. The throw just didn't give Piquet a chance, and it sailed out of bounds.
And the rugby-style kick that has become so popular is away! And what a hit. A special teams play downfield.
Tyler Wheeling getting down there making the big play. You're going to see right there, Wheeling coming into your wheelhouse.
There wasn't much time for Ryan McCormick once he caught it. At the 45-yard line. Skutt has had in the last 3 series 2 touchdown passes from Ben Sievers and the Billy Higgins run.
The last 3 possessions for Elkhorn have been turnover on downs, fumbled snap, punt.
Sievers with the pistol. Keeps it. And weaves his way for 5.
Well, the Skutt offensive line is just mashing right now, aren't they? They're driving those defensive linemen 2 or 3 yards off the ball, seemingly on every play. We saw early on that Antler defense was getting some good penetration, making some tackles in the backfield, hitting the fullback, Archer, a couple of times behind the line, but this offensive line for the Skyhawks has found its way.
Big right tackle, Kyle Rubio is an all-state candidate. This time, give this victory to the Elkhorn defensive line, which now puts Skutt in a 3rd down and about 6.
Well, up 21-3, I would not be surprised if Matt Turman plays it a little conservatively here and just tries to keep it on the ground. We saw them pick up a 3rd and about this range on the ground on their way to their first touchdown.
3 wide receivers on 3rd down. Sievers will put it up, looking downfield, and the pass is deflected away.
Nice defensive play there to get your defense off the field and give that offense another chance. I think it's Gutchow, number 2, who gets his hand up.
Remember when that used to be the norm?
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, and kids today see it from the likes of J.J. Watt in the NFL. And It's a good teaching tool. If you're not going to get to the quarterback, watch his eyes and get your hands up, get in that passing lane.
Boy, crucial, forcing it to 3 and out. And Elkhorn will get the football back, still down 21-3. Hadavy with a short return. So the Elkhorn defense, 3 and out, in between 3 touchdowns for Skutt. 2 3 and outs, 3 touchdowns. This week on YurView's high school football recruiting podcast, Josh Ward from WNML in Knoxville breaks down the Tennessee-Florida recruiting rivalry. YurView analyst, former Dallas Cowboy and SMU Mustang, Dale Hallistray, previews the featured game of the week, plus his thoughts on how Arizona and Arizona State have struggled with local recruiting. Dale also will share memories of the days that he was being recruited by SMU. Yeah, he was part of the Pony Express. Matt Mueller, the COO of Huddle, discussed the impact Huddle has had on the college football and the recruiting process. You don't want to miss it. Hosted by Jeremy Crabtree, it is Over the Middle, recruiting podcast. It's become very popular. For more information, go to our website, YurView.com. Hawkins' pass is well away from the intended wide receiver as Lange got caught up with Lewandowski as he was in the pattern.
We've seen it a couple of times where Hawkins just hasn't been able to put it on an open receiver, and it's cost the Antlers a couple of big plays. They got one big connection with Hadavy down the near sideline, but there have been a couple of others in the passing game where if it's just a slightly better ball, it's probably a big gainer. And there's another missed opportunity for Elkhorn.
And they're being forced to throw on first down because they've had no semblance of a running game. 2 wide receivers. Hawkins rolling out. A couple blockers in front on the run. His pass is incomplete.
Another open receiver. The Skutt defense is giving in the passing game. And right now, Hawkins and company just not able to take advantage.
You're in danger of putting your defense right back out there after they forced a 3rd down long win to force the punt. You get the ball back, and back-to-back aerial attempts have been errant. They just haven't been able to pierce the front 4 of Skutt. Almost drew a Skyhawk into the neutral zone. Now Hawkins takes his time, looks to the sidelines, and changes the play for the first time tonight. Toss to Young. Blockers in front. He had Fritz, who got him a block, but Young couldn't get much more, maybe 4 hard-earned yards, but it will not be enough for a first down.
And Aiden Young he's shown some flashes, as he did right there on that little jump cut, and you're going to see it. He just hops back to the inside, out of the tackle, but great flow from that Skyhawk defense.
Skradsky and Wells. So much speed up front, and it's going to be an adjustment at halftime for the Elkhorn offensive staff. Rugby style punt is away, and this time there will be no return. Skutt players get way away from the football as it's down to the 41.
But this is, I mean, has Skutt started in bad field position all night?
Except for the opening, their first drive would have been 80 yards to get a touchdown. No.
They've started between the 40s on about every possession tonight, and it just, Elkhorn's done nothing to change field position in this one. And again, another fairly short punt sets the Skyhawks up with a great chance to punch one in and wear down the rest of this clock and be up 4 scores going into the break.
This feels like a series of Elkhorn to force a turnover. We've had 1 turnover, and that was on a fumble by Elkhorn. Severs and the quarterback keeper. You see the ball trying to be ripped out of his hands. Pickering took a swipe at it. Said that Severs' progress had been stopped. This will be 2nd down and 6.
Makes you nervous when a quarterback gets tripped up on the run and is leaning forward with that head going forward, running into defenders. Severs able to avoid the big hit there, but man, that is one good way to get rocked.
Coming up at halftime, we'll hear the sounds of the Elkhorn band, stats, highlights, and Lisa Cottle from Cox will join our Megan Scolio, who will have a chat with one of the head coaches the end of the first half. A good stop is Ben Zach has found little running room tonight. Now it is 3rd down and long.
That's a good defensive play by Ram Gastali. Blocker in his face, goes low and gets Zach around the ankles to get him to the ground.
So this Elkhorn defense, about in the same area on the field, forced a 3 and out. Now it'll be 3rd down and 5. We'll see what Matt Turman dials up. A couple of wide receivers to the bottom of your screen. Severs will run, he'll look that way. Throws downfield, and it is caught, and it will be a 1st down.
Yeah, Severs is going to take a shot at the end of this one. Good patience to wait, and wait for Darrow to come open. Gets a big shot right in the thighs from Schmutz. But Gastali was right there with the coverage and just ran out of the zone, and Darrow sat down, and Severs able to find him.
They go right back to Jake Archer, and he's breaking tackles all over the place. For 22 yards, rumbling, tumbling, and spinning here and there.
And these kind of runs are just will breakers. When you think you've got him, you think you've got him, you think you've got him again, spinning out of tackles. And the big man, Kyle Ruby, all the way downfield blocking. Tremendous effort by this offensive unit for Skutt.
Well, now you got to rely on that senior leadership on that Elkhorn defense. You had 3rd down and long, and pass completion, and then a big run by Archer. Play action. Severs throwing towards the end zone. Touchdown. Standing behind the defense was Austin Ash. Ash, known for his basketball skills, that's a slam dunk right there. Wide open in the end zone from 23 yards out. Severs with his 3rd touchdown pass of the night.
Oh boy. And once again, it looked like miscommunication on the back end. Antlers playing zone. Ash just gets in the seam between the safety and the corner. Touchdown.
PAT away from going up 28-3. When you thought you had them stopped, a couple of plays later, they're in the end zone. Joey White with another PAT. With 1:37 to go. 28-3. Ben Severs, 3 touchdown passes.
How about that?
Here in the first half, he has found Skradsky, Sudbeck, and now Austin Ash, who spent his summer playing for Omaha Sports Academy, AAU basketball. The Skutt athletic programs, mentioned it earlier how successful they are. Last year, volleyball under Renee Saunders, number 2 or number 3 nationally, whatever poll you prefer. They recently had their 60-match winning streak snapped. They were 44-0 last year. Ray McDermott, the head basketball coach at Creighton, his daughter Sydney is part of the Skutt volleyball team this year, and Lindsey Krause, who has already verbally committed before her freshman year began to the University of Nebraska. They won baseball this year for the first time. Always good in soccer. Basketball, of course, wrestling, which was almost like death taxes, and Skutt was going to win Class B wrestling.
Well, was it 14 straight years that they won it?
Brad Hildebrand.
He built a monster.
Wrote a book as well. He's an author. And this kick through the back of the end zone, 28-3 with 1:37 to go.
Any touchback for the Antlers, 1st and 10 at the 20-yard line.
And now just 1:37 for this Elkhorn offense to try and put anything together. And the last thing you want to have happen is to give this ball back to Skutt for one more chance to really put this thing in a big hole before we head to the break.
28 unanswered for the Skutt Catholic Skyhawks. 2-1 on the year. Lone loss, the 2-time defending champion. And a quick burst up the middle by Pickering, and you saw how quickly that opening closed. Timeout taken by Skutt. So with 1:31 to go, up 28-3. Matt Turman's thinking they're going to get the ball back. That's add that tackle to Jake Archer. He got the initial stop, and then from behind was Austin Ash to clean it up.
The play looked well blocked, but Archer just comes off the block of Tyler Renner, fills the hole, and stopped what looked like it was going to go for about a 20-yard gain to 5.
Looking for a new career? Explore our programs in business, health, and technology. Get going today at Your Career Path by visiting iwcc.edu. Iowa Western, the world is waiting. Jake Archer, number 49 in your picture. Listed in some services as the number 2 linebacker in the state of Nebraska. You could say, John, that if you went with a Super 6 in the state of Nebraska, half would be out of Class B. Cam Jurgens, the tight end for Beatrice, who's headed to Nebraska. Maz Maypew, defensive lineman from York, who's headed to Nebraska. And then Moses Bryant, who we'll see in a couple of weeks, the running back, defensive back from Elkhorn South, all in Class B.
Pretty tremendous athletes in Class B this year. And it just hasn't been this year. I mean, those guys have been around for a while.
Fritz stopped by Skradsky, and it'll be 3rd down and short, and another timeout taken by Skutt.
Well, you think Matt Turman wants to try and end this game in the first half?
Yeah, he is not playing around tonight. Already up 28-3, and the way your defense is played, that is a big gap. But he would like the ball back. He'd like an opportunity to put more points on the board. His quarterback, Ben Sievers, has thrown 3 touchdown passes here in the first half. Next week, we go back to Class A. We go to downtown Omaha, West Side, and Omaha Central. You can see Jaden Coles, who is running amok among Class A running backs.
11 touchdowns through his first 3 games.
And we will see Lance Griffin and the Central Eagles for the first time. Lance back at his alma mater in his first year. Hasn't gone so well in the first 3 weeks, 0-3. But he couldn't be prouder to be back at a place that is so special to him. 3rd down now for Elkhorn. Hawkins keeps it, and fortunately for Elkhorn, he gets a first down.
Yeah, fortunately is right, because they were on the verge after those 2 timeouts taken by Skutt of handing that football right back over. And now at least have a chance to keep the clock moving. I can't believe I'm saying that.
That's key when you're down 28-3, and the other side is thinking we'd like the ball back. Elkhorn will get the ball to start the second half. Near the minute mark remaining in the first half. Matt Turman will talk to Megan Scolio here in a moment. Another lead handoff. Pickering gets 5, and that is about the extent of what Elkhorn has been able to get on the ground. 3, 4, 5 yards. Aiden Young, who we talked a lot about in the pregame, the freshman running back, just has not been able to get on track. He has had a target on him, and they have followed him all over the field.
Well, it's been just great play by those 4 linebackers for Skutt. They have been all over the field. Archer, Higgins, Wells, Trout. They've just been flying all over, making plays.
Again, this is a defense that returned 10 starters on the toss play. And Pickering bowls his way for about 4. It's going to be 3rd down and 1. The clock should run out, and we should run off to the locker room.
Boy, what could this half have gone any worse from an Elkhorn perspective? I mean,
boy, and you didn't get that sense right at the beginning of the game.
When they went right down the field and drive stalled out a little bit. Okay, we'll take the points, kick the field goal. Looked like we were going to have a little back and forth contest, but that Skutt defense really tightened the screws midway through that first quarter.
3 scores in the second quarter will send Skutt to the locker room up 28-3. Megan Scolio down on the field. We'll chat with Matt Turman, who pretty comfortable calling plays, especially with his quarterback Ben Sievers and his 3 touchdowns, but he gave Elkhorn a look about everything possible there in the first 24 minutes. Here's Megan going to be with us as the band was coming towards her. Here's Megan with Matt Turman. Megan.
All right, Coach, after your offense started with that 3 and out, they seem to find their groove, putting up 28 unanswered. How did you evaluate their performance?
Well, we're playing much better than we have the first 3 weeks, and I think playing a quality team like Elkhorn, our kids stepped up to the challenge. We were worried going into the first half or the first quarter, especially when they got a short field. But our kids, they're playing hard.
All right, thanks, Coach.
Thanks, Megan. Thanks, Matt Turman. Just give that little look at the camera like he's done this before.
He's been around the media a little bit, I think.
So his defense has played outside of Elkhorn South. You can take that game out. The other two games are pretty pleased with the performance. But as he mentioned, this is their most complete performance so far this season. And that scoreboard shows that they are being rewarded for it, up 28-3 at halftime. Lots of stuff to come your way here at halftime. We'll have highlights, we'll have stats, and we'll hear from the Elkhorn Band when you return. It's game time on YurView and the Iowa Western Game of the Week at the break.
When kids have internet access at home, they're more successful in the classroom. If your child is a K-12 student and your family receives government assistance, you could qualify for discounted Cox high-speed internet for only $9.95 a month. To enroll, call 855-222-3252 or visit cox.com/C2C. And while you're there, check out the Cox Digital Academy for educational tools and web tips for the whole family.
Okay, it's decision time. I want flexibility, more doing, hands-on experience, and working sooner. I gotta make a choice. I want to get started now. Find your path at iwcc.edu and get hands-on real-world experience. Start now at Iowa Western.
Bouncy ball. Look, it's almost alive. Advertising used to be simple. Make an ad, put it on TV, get results. Today, with all the new viewing options, it's a lot more complex. At Cox Media, we make the complex simple. With precise targeting, transparency, and automation, we connect advertisers to audiences. Anyone, anywhere, on any screen. Advertising simplified. Contact Cox Media to learn more.
28-3 at halftime. Skutt Catholic leads Elkhorn in the Iowa Western Game of the Week. And let's listen in. This is their competitive show performance tonight. They are the pride of all Elkhorn. It is the Marching Antlers.
The Antlers Marching Band presents Magic.
You're the decision maker, weighing every option to make the smartest choice. That's why you start with Nebraska Medicine, an entire network of top providers working together to keep you healthy. From extraordinary primary care to world-leading research and treatments, so you can be confident everyone's health is in good hands. The state's most comprehensive care in 19 locations. Nebraska Medicine.
Charles Drew selected Cox Business because in the healthcare arena, it is imperative that we have transfer of data that is reliable, flexible, and fast. On average, Charles Drew Health Center has about 33,000 phone calls a month. With IP-Centrics, the system was very intuitive, and it allowed us to be reactionary to the needs of our patients. Cox Business Solutions has allowed us to be more efficient and effective in meeting the needs of the greater Omaha community. Cox Business is a great partner.
Okay, it's decision time. I want to take classes I need, spend less time working to pay for them. I want flexibility to transfer my credits. I want to get started now. Find your path at iwcc.edu and get hands-on, real-world experience. Start now at Iowa Western.
28-3 at halftime. Skutt Catholic leads Elkhorn. It's game time on YurView, the Iowa Western game of the week. Quick reminder, next week, Omaha Westside at Omaha Central. Lots going on as we are joined down on the field. Megan Scolio has from Cox, Lisa Cottle. Megan and Lisa.
Thanks, Gary. Well, Lisa, we're talking tonight about a cool event coming up in September. What's going on?
So, Cox Communications is working with Oracle Aviation, the Strategic Air Command Museum, and Creighton University to host the first ever Drone Expo 2017.
Drone Expo, huh? What can people do there?
You know, it's going to be a ton of fun. People who are familiar with drones or people who aren't will be able to enjoy helicopter rides.
I can see why.
Drone aviation workshops, safety presentations, and learn all about the skills that it takes to be able to pilot a drone.
Why did you guys decide to have this expo now, or in September?
You know, there are really a couple of reasons. Number one, drones are becoming so popular. We all saw last holiday season, companies are even looking to use drones to deliver your online purchases. But we're getting ready for the drone drag race next March, which is going to be a ton of fun. People who come out to the Drone Expo will be able to learn what it takes to be a drone drag race pilot.
So if people want to go, how do they find out more information about this?
It's super easy. It's all online. sacmuseum.org.
All right, thanks, Lisa. Gary, we'll send it back to you.
Thanks, Megan. Thanks, Lisa. Lots of exciting stuff going on. We hope for Elkhorn's sake, that's what Mark Warman's going on in the locker room, that they can make this an exciting second half. Skutt Catholic, 4 unanswered scores. We come back, stats and highlights. It's game time on YurView.
At Woodhouse Auto Family, the buying experience is different. And the over 27,000 customers who bought from us last year know why. Our knowledgeable sales staff know the brands, the products, and take time to get to know you and guide you to your perfect vehicle. And that experience continues with any of our 16 service locations and with trained advisors and technicians to help you maintain your vehicle. Experience the difference. Purchase with confidence. This is Woodhouse.
When kids have internet access at home, they're more successful in the classroom. If your child is a K-12 student and your family receives government assistance, you could qualify for discounted Cox high-speed internet for only $9.95 a month. To enroll, call 855-222-3252 or visit cox.com/C2C. And while you're there, check out the Cox Digital Academy for educational tools and web tips for the whole family.
Of caregivers come from, who trains them, who mentors them, who inspires them. At CHI Health, we believe in the power of education. As partners with Creighton University, we are advancing a new era of academic health care. We're researching and collaborating to bring more minds to every case, every patient, every day. We're giving the future of care a new home. CHI Health. Imagine that.
Elkhorn scored to begin the game with a field goal. After that, it was all Skutt Catholic. 3 Ben Seaver touchdown passes in the first half, and that's where we stand. 28-3. Skutt Catholic leading Elkhorn here on Game Time on YurView. Get a good look at the crowd. Every seat in the house is full tonight as Elkhorn off to a 3-0 start. Skutt Catholic 2-1, John.
Yeah, and we're going to take a look at some of the highlights from this one. Elkhorn, as you said, got things going early, but that Skutt defense, they might have given up a field goal, but they came to play, and it was Billy Higgins early and often welcoming the young freshman to varsity football. And Jake Archer had a good first half, both sides of the ball. Used him as a little bit of a decoy to set up a couple of big option plays. You're going to get a good look at the first one. It was a pitch from Sievers. And he's going to keep around the end and pick up big yards, and that's going to set up after a big third down conversion by Archer to get him inside the 10. His first touchdown pass of the night. We said, oh, hey, look, Sievers threw a touchdown pass. He only had one coming into this one. But he was certainly not done there. That Elkhorn offense, full sputter in the second quarter, just could not find anything. And Sievers, after the turnover on downs near midfield, the bomb to Colton Sudbeck. And it was 14-3 at that point. And we said, okay, big possession for the Antlers. Unfortunately, they couldn't do anything with it. They got one big play down the sideline. Nice catch right there by Matt Hodovy. And that would be about all they did for the rest of the first half. A fumbled snap. Gave the ball right back to Skutt after that big play. And Skutt would march right down the field. Sievers finding receivers with open spaces. Seemed like there was a lot of miscommunication on the back end of that Elkhorn defense. And Higgins dashes in from 11 yards out, and it was 21-3 at that point. Skutt not done. Big hit on special teams. Skyhawks undeterred. Archer with a big run would set up yet another Ben Sievers first half touchdown pass to the third different receiver right down the middle. Skyhawks 28-3 at the break.
And here are the first half stats brought to you by Joe Ziski. You look on the Skutt side, pretty balanced.
And no turnovers.
And for Elkhorn, they just have not been able to get on track on the ground. And so they've had to be kind of something they're really not with Isaac Hawkins. And that's throwing the football. And they'll get the football to begin the second half. And we'll see if they try and establish something or if they continue to try and throw the football. They've had their opportunities, though, in the passing game. Guys have been open.
They've had some open receivers, but you look at the disparity in time of possession. A lot of short possessions for the Antlers. Never in rhythm, never picking up first downs and keeping those chains moving, getting the offense some time to stay on the field and make something happen.
28-3 here at the break. Ben Sievers with 3 touchdown passes. Again, another great crowd here in Elkhorn tonight. And a big thanks to Mark King, who is the athletic director at Elkhorn, and his staff for all of their assistance tonight. And if that name sounds familiar, yep, Mark King, who was the highly successful football coach at Lincoln Southwest before he left to take the Elkhorn athletic director job. We had a chance to chat with him, share memories of some of those great Southwest teams before the game. Southwest teams that included Josh Banderas, Brandon Riley, also Christian Lacouture, who is starting at LSU, Tyler Hoppus, who is now the starting linebacker or the starting tight end at Nebraska, on and on. Great coaching history for Mark King at Southwest, and now he's here at Elkhorn. Coming up, the second half kickoff. Skutt leads Elkhorn 28-3.
Bouncy ball. Look, it's almost alive.
Advertising used to be simple. Make an ad, put it on TV, get results. Today, with all the new viewing options, it's a lot more complex. At Cox Media, we make the complex simple. With precise targeting, transparency, and automation, we connect advertisers to audiences. Anyone, anywhere, on any screen. Advertising simplified. Contact Cox Media to learn more.
Okay, it's decision time. I want to experience a 4-year college in 2 years. I want to live on campus, but get to my career faster. I want to get started now. Find your path at iwcc.edu and get hands-on, real-world experience. Start now at Iowa Western.
All of our registration systems and the staff systems are based in the cloud, so it's important that our internet connectivity is up all the time. To me, it was clear as soon as we met with Cox Business, they were going to listen to what we needed and design a solution for what was going to be best for us. Having Cox Business as our one provider has allowed us to more easily manage our daily processes. If anything happens or if there's anything I need changed, it's just a phone call or an email away.
All right, Coach, you guys seem to struggle offensively in the first half. What adjustments do you make for the second?
Well, hopefully we can block a little bit better and run the ball, keep the ball away from them, because we can't, not only can we not move, but we can't stop them either. So hopefully we can make a few adjustments.
All right, thanks, Coach.
You bet.
Thanks, Megan. Thanks, Coach Wortman, as we get set for the start of the second half. 28-3. Again, Elkhorn will get the football to start. We'll be back here in a couple of weeks for Elkhorn and Elkhorn South in the battle for supremacy. Elkhorn South, the two-time defending Class B champion, which has won 29 in a row going into tonight's action.
Well, you heard it from Coach Wortman. They didn't block very well in that first half, and they were unable to get stops. And when you talk about things as a football team that spell a mark in the L column, those are the two things. Those are the two big ones. You don't get stops on defense and you don't block anybody on offense, you don't win a lot of games. So they really have to get their play on the offensive and defensive lines shored up for this second half.
Mark Wortman, graduate of Northern Colorado in Greeley, got his start in Littleton, Colorado, but all 336 of those victories right here at Elkhorn High. Short kick. It is fumbled, picked up though by Pickering, and he'll get out near the 30-yard line. Last week, Elkhorn in the second quarter against Beatrice, a game which they won 38-21. They scored 17 points in the second quarter and didn't have a first down. They had a 86-yard kickoff return for a touchdown by Jacob Pickering. They had a 90-yard interception return by Cole Alfrey, and then they kicked a field goal at the end of the first half. They will start here at the 28, down 28-3. Aiden Young back in the game. Isaac Hawkins under center.
They're going to need some things like that to happen in this one to get back into it.
Just one turnover, and that was a fumble by Elkhorn. And the fullback is stopped for maybe a yard. TJ Skradsky in on the tackle. Ben Altman as well. A lot of two-way players. Skradsky's already caught a touchdown pass tonight.
Well, we talked about the linebackers playing well, but Ruby and Altman, those two interior defensive tackles for Skutt, they have been a nightmare. They've been taking up blockers and allowing those linebackers to make plays all over the field. When you have two guys that can take care of the interior like that, it makes things real easy on that second level.
Hand off to Young, trying to find any room, and he fumbled the ball. It's loose, and it is recovered by Skutt.
Wow. The play was blown up by the defensive end, Jacob O'Neill, who was 3 yards into the backfield almost at the snap of the ball. And then another, you hate to say it, freshman mistake. He comes through the line holding it with one hand, and it just pops out of there.
Kyle Ruby had his big paws wrapped around the freshman running back. Second turnover of the night. Skutt up 28-3. Now will take over at the Elkhorn 32. Hand off to Archer. Leaps over a blocker. And a collision gives him 7 yards as a helmet pops off. Jake Archer, the Nebraska staff was pretty enamored with his athletic ability at Friday Night Lights. They've, again, as I mentioned earlier, they're going to watch him throughout the year. Already a couple of Skyhawk graduates from the class of 2017 are preferred walk-ons. Christian Banker could have a very bright future, wide receiver in Nebraska's program. He was part of the 105, a walk-on being invited to camp ahead of some scholarship players. When training camp started for Nebraska back in late July. And just a straight-ahead handoff, muscling his way for another 5 is Jake Archer. And this is probably what we'll see now, a good dose of this for the rest of the night for Skutt.
Yeah, Archer and Zach going to get their fair share of carries down the stretch here. And they are going to run right at Elkhorn, and Antlers got a bow the neck. You know, this is big boy football. This is mano y mano. Can you stand up and take the heat?
It's an important stretch for Elkhorn because tonight starts a run of 4 straight games against teams that are currently unbeaten. Gretna next week, and then Columbus, and then Omaha Roncalli, who has a big game with Gretna tonight. Play action. Sievers puts it up towards the end zone, and it is knocked away at the last moment by Cole Alfrey.
Well, there's a nice play in the secondary. It's been shaky back there throughout the first half for Elkhorn, and now Alfrey comes over and makes a great play because the ball's put right on the money, and Alfrey just comes across and bats the ball out of the hands of the intended receiver, Jackson Gordon, where it's another touchdown for Skutt probably.
Two really good athletes going up there. Jackson Gordon is a multi-sport athlete at Skutt. Now it's 2nd down and 10. But keep it on the ground. Zach with the carry. And Josh Schmutz with the tackle.
Yeah, Schmutz has been one of the bright spots on defense for Elkhorn. He's been in on seemingly every tackle tonight, and right there makes a nice play, coming up and filling from his linebacker spot.
Joey White, pretty good place kicker for Skutt. So on 3rd down and 7. Play action. Sievers is sacked. What a play by Jacob Pickering. Untouched to Sievers, and for the first time tonight, they haul the Skutt Catholic quarterback down.
It's a blitz from the strong side. Pickering just comes off the edge, and he's in there before Sievers even knew what hit him. Finally, a good defensive play for the Antlers, and they're going to force the field goal try here.
Joey White last week, 3 field goals, set a school record. This will be a 42-yard attempt for the junior. Spot down, kick is up, and the kick is good with plenty of distance from 42 yards out. So the fumble by Elkhorn to begin the second half turns into points, and it's 31 unanswered now for Skutt Catholic.
You're the decision maker, weighing every option to make the smartest choice. That's why you start with Nebraska Medicine, an entire network of top providers working together to keep you healthy. From extraordinary primary care to world-leading research and treatments, so you can be confident everyone's health is in good hands. The state's most comprehensive care in 19 locations. Nebraska Medicine.
When kids have internet access at home, they're more successful in the classroom. If your child is a K-12 student and your family receives government assistance, you could qualify for discounted Cox high-speed internet for only $9.95 a month. To enroll, call 855-222-3252 or visit cox.com/C2C. And while you're there, check out the Cox Digital Academy for educational tools and web tips for the whole family.
31 unanswered for Skutt after the 42-yard field goal by Joey White, his 5th field goal of the season. This is week number 4. And now a touchback, and Elkhorn take over at the 20-yard line, where they have had just some bad field position all night long. Hawkins looks over that front 4. Misdirection. Keeps it, now wants to throw, and it is broken up.
Another nice defensive play. This time, Luke Lewandowski coming from inside out, and he's coming hot. You're going to see tight end flashes open over the middle, and bang, here comes Lewandowski.
Well, that defense. There are not a lot of teams that are going to slow down Elkhorn South and contain Moses Bryant. But outside of week number 2, his defense does not let you breathe. They're so athletic. Veteran, fundamentally sound. You can see as they read their keys here. And running the football, you're just not going to be able to do it. Ruby and O'Neill bringing down Pickering.
Ruby just, he's a hoss in there. 250-pound defensive tackle, just eating up blocks, taking up space. Nowhere to run for this Antler offense on the inside.
3 of the last 4 years in the Class B final. And Turman's got 3 state titles. Also has, he's one of the rare individuals in the state of Nebraska to play in the Shrine Bowl and also coach in the Shrine Bowl. Most recently, this past June, he was head coach in the Shrine Bowl. Hawkins puts it up and he sails it over his wide receiver, Matt Hotovy. Might have been tipped at the line of scrimmage. And Elkhorn will have to punt the football.
I mean, if you're Mark Wortman, what do you do at this point? It's just a defender making a good play. Another great defensive play with a defender getting his hand in the air. That time it's Austin Ash just reading the quarterback and jumping in the air. But if you're Mark Wortman, you've done about everything you know how. It's just you're getting outplayed at this point.
The punt here will waddle just into Skutt territory, and Skutt Catholic up 31-3 will be right back out on offense. Reminder, we'll be back with you next week. Omaha West Side and Omaha Central from downtown Omaha. If you're interested in an exciting career in media studies, check out the opportunities in TV, radio, and sports promotions at Iowa Western. Visit iwcc.edu. Iowa Western, the world is waiting. We talked about the athletic prowess of Skutt. Well, they've got a fantastic journalism program. Both of these schools have really good journalism programs and great opportunities for the students to even call games. Archer in the backfield trying to get away from, it seemed at a point, Dasher, Dancer, Prancer, Vixen, Comet, Cupid, Donnan, and Blitzen. And finally, it was the last Antler that took him down.
Yeah, and it's A.J. Hageman, the big defensive tackle, who gets in there and puts this play off schedule. One of the few times we've seen tonight that that offensive line for Skutt didn't do the job.
Also, the Skutt dance team has won the state title in Nebraska for 9 straight years. Seaver's rolling out. He's got 3 touchdown passes tonight. And this pass here is broken up. Good defensive play. Mitch.
Yeah,
Carey.
Good coverage by Carey, excuse me. Mitch Carey on the coverage there. Just got a hand in front of the receiver, and that is one thing we've seen here in the second half is the secondary issues that we saw in that first half. It seemed to have been shored up for the most part by that Elkhorn secondary.
3rd down and 14. 2 wide receivers. Skradsky, the big tight end, to the top of your screen. And Sievers will put it up. Rolling out to the near side. Fires it deep down the field. Another wide receiver got behind the coverage, but this time it is broken up as the pass was underthrown. And the wide receiver, J.D. Darrow, had to come back for it. It was broken up by Alfrey.
Well, I think Sievers getting a little overconfident with this one. Had a couple of long passes in that first half. He just hangs this one. Looks like a punt coming down. And Alfrey right there to just touch it away. Going to force a punt now from Skutt.
So Elkhorn, who in their last 5 possessions have gone punt, punt, and we hit halftime, fumble, punt. Late fair catch called for, and again, not great field position to start. It'll be at the 21-yard line, down 31-3. At one point, it was 3-0 in this game. As we've been telling you, next week, join us, tell your friends, have a watch party. We're back with Friday night action. Iowa Western's game of the week, Omaha Westside at Omaha Central, the Warriors and the Eagles. Game time only on YurView, channel 1013. And make sure that you follow us online at YurView.com and on Twitter at YurViewOM. Also on Facebook. See some of the behind-the-scenes stuff and stories leading up to our game of the week. Really good story that John did with Matt Turman earlier this week. And we're excited to hear all about Jaden Coles next week in the lead up to Westside and Central. First time tonight, Elkhorn goes with some up-tempo. Hawkins play action rolling out, and another pass is dropped. Brett Lange, the senior captain, just had it roll off his fingertips. It'll be third down.
That's our key player, the young man that we said needed to have a good game on both sides of the ball. And that's about the third or fourth drop pass now. Just these receivers and backs not doing Isaac Hawkins any favors tonight. He's had some open receivers that he's missed, but more than a couple of times he's put the ball on the money and just hasn't been handled.
And unfortunately it's been in the play action, which Skutt has bitten a little bit, and those wide receivers have had the ability to be open and try and catch it. Back to Lange. And he will be thrown down short of the first down. So nearing the halfway point of the third quarter and down 31-3, where you're at on the field, Mark Wortman will send out his punting unit once again. You're not going to be able to run the foot. If you can't throw the football, you're not going to be able to go back to running the football against this defense.
Well, it's been tough sledding all night, and you can see with the reverse, you know, that offensive staff for Elkhorn just trying to come up with anything to stop the bleeding.
And the high snap. Alfrey trying to chase it down. It's picked up and into the end zone for Jared Epperson. It's the high snap over Alfrey's head. Epperson raced, got it at the 4 and into the end zone, and it's 37-3.
Yikes. And that is just, I mean, it can't go much worse at this point, really. Nothing working right now for Elkhorn.
Joey White on again for another extra point and successfully boots it through. It is now 38-3, and that's 38 unanswered by the Skyhawks.
All smiles on that Skutt sideline right now. No reason to be sad about anything at this point.
Also, is an indication how deep this Skutt roster is. I think everybody that has dressed tonight, that has played, has contributed in some way or another. Hey, don't miss any of the action. You can go to yourview.com/football and sign up for the Game Time newsletter to get the previous week's highlights, stories, and recruiting news, along with a preview of the upcoming week's matchups delivered straight to your inbox. John and I, Andy, Jacob, Megan, the rest of our crew, Brian, Bob, we all have signed up for the newsletter. Reminds us what we have to do on the weekend. You can go to yourview.com/football. Anybody on our crew that has not signed up for it, we will take care of that at the end of the game. 38-3, and this is good field position for Elkhorn as Jacob Pickering ran with abandon to the 34-yard line. Week number 4, 5 more weeks to go in the regular season. Set in the open, John. This felt like a big game. We learned a lot about Skutt so far. I think we're learning a little bit more about Elkhorn. The schedule has gotten a little bit more difficult in week number 4. But they have pieces where they were young pieces for the last couple of years, and they battled some injuries. But now this is the time when you're up 38-3. This is where Mark Wortman goes into full teaching mode as Pickering cuts it back and just no yardage, maybe a yard. DJ Skradsky in there. Jacob O'Neal as well, and then Kyle Ruby.
And those 2 tackles in this second half, it was the story of the first half was those linebackers for Skutt. In this second half, those 2 defensive tackles have just been a brick wall on the inside, and that's right where Elkhorn likes to run the ball, between the tackles, between the guards, really. And Ruby and company having none of it.
There used to be a day where Skutt, Elkhorn, and Elkhorn South were all in the same district. Now Skutt is in a district with Roncalli, Bennington, and Ralston. Elkhorn South will be in Class A next year. Hawkins puts it up. He has a wide receiver out there and could not connect with Hanavi.
It's a good looking throw from Hawkins, a real tight spiral. Good line on the ball. Hawkins just puts a little too much arm into it. Hanavi can't quite get there. Another missed opportunity in the passing game for Elkhorn.
How about Elkhorn's district? Elkhorn South, Elkhorn, Mount Michael, Gretna. All 4 teams are 3-0 entering the 4th week of the regular season. Class B football is really, really good, not only in the eastern part of the state, but also in the middle portion, Aurora, York, and out west, McCook, Scotts Bluff. Pickering upended on the play, took a helmet to that knee as he will limp off. On 4th down, Mark Wortman will elect to send his punting unit out onto the field.
You start to kind of feel bad for the Elkhorn sideline now. It just doesn't matter what they've tried to do. Nothing has worked, and still 3.5 minutes in the 3rd quarter.
Another high snap, this time hauled down by Allfree. Last one went over his head and was run into the end zone. And the ball hit a Skutt defender after I think it was tipped by Elkhorn on the high bounce. And it will be Skutt football with 3 and some change going as the running clock now here in the 3rd quarter.
And I'm not exactly sure what Alex Van Dyke is doing right there. It looks like he's trying to jump up and touch the ball. Don't understand quite why.
Here in Elkhorn, where they are expanding, not only there are more numbers for Elkhorn this year on the sidelines, but high schools are being built, elementary schools. Ryan McCormick is now in at quarterback. Lead handoff to Sean Wells. Is this the opportunity that Skutt, with their football program from 9th grade all the way up to varsity, the 9th grade team did not lose a game last year. You get in these opportunities and Matt Turman will play as many people as possible. Game experience trumps anything else that you're doing at the varsity level if you are a backup and you get these opportunities to play for what will be kind of an extended time tonight.
They play a ton of guys anyway at Skutt, and you know the 1s and 2s kind of fluid. Play a lot of guys, and now, as you say, under Matt Turman's guide, they win by big margins rather frequently. And as we've talked about over the years, success breeds success, partly because you get to play a lot of guys, and you get a lot of guys who see that live fire varsity action, and it's not a new experience when they get in there the next year.
Ryan McCormick is a junior. Ben Sievers, the starting quarterback, 3 touchdown passes tonight, is a senior. McCormick sails this one wide. Jacob Christian. And it'll be 4th down, and Skutt will have to punt the football right back to Elkhorn. Running clock here in the 2nd half. Skutt scored that touchdown to put him up 38-3. Elkhorn travels to Crete next week. 2 years ago, Elkhorn had the first losing record for Mark Wortman here. First time since '94 they had not made the playoffs. But off to a start last year, they got them to 7-3. They were knocked out in the 1st round. This year at 3-0. Max Brinker, about a 33-yard average, punts the football away. It is returnable. But again, great coverage. All three had no room to run. Eddie Darrow was down there, along with Sam Bloomingdale. Darrow, who we have to ask him, he caught the final out of the Class B State Baseball Championship in the spring. He kept the baseball. It's not in I don't think it's in a trophy case at Skutt. I think it might be in his bedroom.
How about that?
So,
little memento.
Jackson Gordon was a key member of that first ever state championship team for Skutt in baseball. As the clock will run out, we will head to the fourth quarter. It has been all Skutt Catholic tonight. 38 unanswered. 38-3 after 3. Come back for the fourth. It's game time on YurView in the Iowa Western Game of the Week.
At Diventures, we want to create a full-service customer experience. Cox Business, as our technology partner, does exactly that. The team at Cox Business came in, took a look at our business, and recommended top-notch solutions. With IP-Centrics, we have a managed, scalable solution to meet all of our customer needs. We get hundreds of phone calls a day, thousands over the course of a week. Because we have Cox Business, we can focus on what we love to do, being on the water and in the water.
At Woodhouse Auto Family, the buying experience is different, and the over 27,000 customers who bought from us last year know why. Our knowledgeable sales staff know the brands, the products, and take time to get to know you and guide you to your perfect vehicle. And that experience continues with any of our 16 service locations, and with trained advisors and technicians to help you maintain your vehicle. Experience the difference. Purchase with confidence. This is Woodhouse.
Bouncy ball. Look, it's almost alive.
Advertising used to be simple. Make an ad, put it on TV, get results. Today, with all the new viewing options, it's a lot more complex. At Cox Media, we make the complex simple. With precise targeting, transparency, and automation, we connect advertisers to audiences. Anyone, anywhere, on any screen. Advertising simplified. Contact Cox Media to learn more.
We are set for the fourth quarter. Elkhorn cheerleaders are ready for 12 more minutes of football. On our double dip this week. Hope you enjoyed our time at Burke High last night. Creighton Prep held off Millard North. Tonight, good start by Elkhorn, but then after that, it has been all Skyhawks up 38-3. There's John Schreiner, I'm Gary Sharp. Megan Scolio. At the end of the game, we'll have the winning coach, our player of the game, stats, highlights, and we'll get you ready for next week when Game Time travels to downtown Omaha for Omaha West Side and Omaha Central at 7 p.m. Central.
By my count, Gary, it's now 6 straight possessions since Elkhorn crossed the 50. They had the big play in the second quarter, the pass to Hotovy, which then was followed up with a fumbled snap that turned it back over to Skutt. And outside of the field goal, those are their only 2 forays into enemy territory.
This Skutt defense. They have trapped Aiden Young tonight. Had another carry, just 2 yards. People that are tuning in around the country have been hearing us say this is a Class B matchup. That is the second largest class in the state of Nebraska. Class A, Class B, C1, C2, D1, D2. 8-man, 6-man football in a state of 1.9 million. As Young has his best run of the night, the freshman running back, first ever under Mark Warman, sprints for 6, and it will be just shy of a first down. They may measure. Nope. It will be 4th down and 1.
Fullback lead. Probably makes the wrong decision there. Could have gone out and get the outside linebacker rather than pinching down on the defensive end. Might have sprung him for a little bit more.
Straight ahead quarterback keeper, and that is a first down. And the clock running here in the fourth quarter. 38-3 Skutt. Last year, Elkhorn traveled to Moylan Stadium, beat Skutt by a score of 31-15. Isaac Hawkins, the junior quarterback. First year as the full-time starter.
So many seniors, starters for this Elkhorn football team. We hit on the defense in the open. 11 seniors listed as starters. Just a couple of junior starters on the offense. One of them Hawkins. The other Brett Swanson on the offensive line. And then of course Aiden Young, the freshman tailback. So coming back next year for the Antlers, we don't really know what they're going to have in the tank. You're going to have a starting quarterback and a starting tailback coming back, but with a lineup that's littered with seniors, you wonder where they go next year.
Graham Gastali, good carry. The 41 pickup of 7. The 2 returners on this offense to begin the year. Now they've gone with some up-tempo, which they did not start using until the second half, and they started to use it even before the clock was running as Gastali carries it again. In 3 weeks, we will see Elkhorn once again take on Elkhorn South. Well, these teams will be 3-1 after tonight. 38 unanswered points by Skutt. And a defense that has only given up 1 touchdown in 2 of 3 games. A quick burst for Gastali.
Gastali's got some good feet, doesn't he? That was a nice little straight line speed run right there. You're going to see a little cutback action. Finds the seam, breaks into the secondary. Best play since early in that first quarter on the ground for Elkhorn.
170-pound senior running back brought down by Ryan Trout, and for one of the rare times tonight, you got to go all the way back. Even that opening drive that resulted in a field goal for Elkhorn. They will snap the ball on Skutt's side of the 50. Gastali this time was tripped up in the backfield, and this is the backup defensive unit for Skutt that is out there. But as we have seen covering Skutt Catholic, there is not much of a drop-off between your first and second team.
No, there certainly isn't. And Matt Turman had built a little bit of a dynasty over there, just south of Center Street, BJ and Angela Skutt Catholic High School. And this is how you do it. Late in games when you're leading by a bunch, get those youngsters in, playing valuable minutes right now.
Gastali on the toss. A good quick burst of speed, and that's a first down. Skutt named after the former chairman of Mutual of Omaha. Matt's father, Tim, longtime head coach at Bishop Newman,
who we got to see last year.
Yep.
And Matt's nephew, Noah Vedral,
who is the backup quarterback at Central Florida, playing for somebody who was a teammate of Matt Turman at Nebraska, Scott Frost.
How about that connection?
It all comes together now. And then Matt's brother Seth is the offensive coordinator at Millard West. Gastali getting some work here in the fourth quarter. Another toss play for minimal gain, maybe back to the line of scrimmage, halfway through the fourth with the clock running. 38-3 Skutt. Matt Turman's got some national championship rings from Nebraska, and he's got some state title championships in high school with Skutt. His wife is the team doctor. I always see him with his kids. We saw him with his kids on the field before the game while the Skyhawks were warming up.
He mentioned his youngster when I got the chance to talk with him last week. Just, you know, an 11-year-old. Another Turman coming through the football system. He said he's just started playing youth football now, so that takes up most of his Saturdays. So we'll keep an eye out. About 4 or 5 years down the road, Skutt may have another quarterback by the name of Turman in their ranks.
The fourth down run is unsuccessful, and Skutt will take over the football. You know, we talk about how good high school football is in the state in Class B. Boy, some of the coaching in Class B is top-notch, whether it be these two really gracious head coaches, Mark Wortman of Elkhorn, or Matt Turman of Skutt, Guy Rosenberg, the head coach at Elkhorn South, Dave Schrader at Gretna. There will be a flag behind the play, and to no surprise of anybody is still in the ballpark.
Yeah.
That will be a takedown by Sean Wells.
Yeah, I'm afraid Sean Wells' wrestling season has not started yet. I don't know if you're a wrestler, but that one starts in about late November.
We have not seen much tonight of Todd Kerr, but he signals the penalty that was pretty obvious to everybody except for the Wells family.
And that's just a, hey, you're going to make the play. No, you're not.
Yeah, mom and dad are probably like, Sean, yeah, maybe we'll do that on defense, not on offense. 38-3 Skutt. They have their third quarterback of the night in the game, Tyson Gordon, who is the younger brother of Jackson Gordon. Again, both are very good athletes, football, basketball. And the other thing that we see, not only depth at positions for Skutt, it always seems like they have 2 or 3 quarterbacks that are in the mix.
That's right. And
a really good number one, and then there's 2 or 3 that are maybe a year or 2 behind that are the next man up that you'll get to see play throughout the course of the season.
Yeah, it's almost a revolving door of quarterbacks, and you'd expect nothing less from the guy who played it at pretty good level at Nebraska on some really good teams. Been around some good ones, has Matt Turman, and had a pretty good quarterbacks coach down there in Lincoln and Turner Gill. Knows how to coach the position, and boy, has he churned out some good ones.
Jack Carlson with the carry. Carlson last week, late in the game, when he got action against Crete, went over 100 yards on 7 carries. It was 7-3 Skutt after the first quarter. It was 28-3 at halftime, 38 unanswered. The pitch, Gordon took a big hit, but on the pitch, Epperson, who has a touchdown, is off to the races. He will go 65 yards. Jared Epperson, a touchdown on a fumble recovery, and now on the touchdown run. And make it 44 unanswered.
Well executed on the option. Make the defensive end commit, make the pitch, and then it's up to Epperson. He makes a nice cutback here behind his blockers, then just outruns everybody to the corner. Gets a couple of nice blocks on the backside. Another big touchdown for the Skyhawks.
Gordon took a heck of a hit, but that's what happens when you're running the option. Did a great job to sell it, and then great vision by Epperson, who is only a junior. That's the one thing, as we have seen through the first 4 weeks of the season, a lot of youth in the Metro. As Joey White's PAT makes it 45-3 Skutt. 2:52 to go.
Where will the next generation of caregivers come from? Who trains them? Who mentors them? Who inspires them? At CHI Health, we believe in the power of education. As partners with Creighton University, we are advancing a new era of academic health care. We're researching and collaborating to bring more minds to every case, every patient, every day. We're giving the future of care a new home. CHI Health. Imagine that.
You're the decision maker, weighing every option to make the smartest choice. That's why you start with Nebraska Medicine, an entire network of top providers working together to keep you healthy. From extraordinary primary care to world-leading research and treatments, so you can be confident everyone's health is in good hands. The state's most comprehensive care in 19 locations. Nebraska Medicine.
45 unanswered for Skutt Catholic. Bouncing kickoff finally picked up. By Brendan Ammo. And we will get a look at the Elkhorn offense, possibly for the final time tonight. Again, we'll see Elkhorn in a couple of weeks when they take on Elkhorn South. That's the Battle of Elkhorn. The Antlers and the Storm. This facility will be packed. That has turned into quite the rivalry that has one more year left in it, and we will witness it here in a couple of weeks, because headed to Class A is Elkhorn South. Also, it appears that right now their longtime rivalry with Omaha Skutt will come to an end. And that's really going to be odd not to have Elkhorn and Elkhorn South playing.
Right. Elkhorn South, Gretna, Skutt, all those kind of West Omaha Class B schools. Some rivalries going to be broken up, but hey, like the seasons, everything changes. We may see in the future Gretna, Elkhorn, who knows? You know, the way that Class A is being expanded, you just never know where those teams are going to end up.
And this part of Omaha on the western edge expanding as well.
And you know, there's
Lange with the carry.
There's an argument to be made for expanding Class A, because the disparity in enrollment from the top of Class B to the bottom of Class B. You're talking about schools who have enrollments of around 1,000 playing schools at the bottom who have enrollments around 250. And that's just a huge disparity for one class.
That was a point of contention when Elkhorn South and Aurora played 2 years ago. Plus, outside of eastern Nebraska, Class B, the middle part of the state to the western part, you might, to play an opponent, have to bus 6 miles or 6 hours one way. Aurora and Scotts Bluff are playing tonight, and that's the travel itinerary.
Can you imagine being a team like Skutt having to go and play at Scotts Bluff? That is unreal. The drive time to get out there and then get back, you'd almost have to spend the night.
And that happened a couple of years ago when Skutt went to play in the playoffs, I believe against McCook, and they turned it into a 2-day trip. Should be the final play of the game. And it will be. And a night that belonged to Skutt Catholic. 45 unanswered points. And Skutt is now 3-1 as Elkhorn suffers their first loss of the year. They dropped to 3-1 in a pretty complete effort by Skutt Catholic. Matt Turman, in our player of the game, will be joining Megan Scolio down on the sidelines here momentarily, as both coaches will shake hands. And who knows, the way Class B sets up, these two teams could see each other again at the end of October. 45-3, Skutt over Elkhorn. Game time on YurView, the Iowa Western Game of the Week.
Schedule your campus visit today. Iowa Western. The world is waiting.
45-3 final. Skutt Catholic over Elkhorn. 45 unanswered points. As the Skyhawks defensively, in 3 of the 4 games, they've only given up 1 touchdown. And tonight they put up another big crooked number on the offensive side, where Skutt has scored in victories this season, 45-44, and now 45 here tonight. Let's take a look at some of these second half highlights. Some of the highlights, John, that will show everyone how dominant Skutt was throughout the course of, especially this second half.
Yeah, most of the dominance came in that first half. We're going to get to our coach interview here.
Matt Turman and Ben Sievers, who threw 3 touchdown passes tonight for Skutt, down on the field with Megan Scolio. Megan?
All right, Coach, you guys improved to 3-1 tonight. What did you think of your team's overall performance?
Well, we came out and was a different team than we'd seen the first 3 weeks. You know, we talked about not taking anything for granted, and the kids took it to heart, and we played our best game of the year against a good team.
All right, and what did you think of Ben here?
He had a great game, threw the ball well, had good command of the offense, ran it well when he needed to, and you know, the offense clicked when he was in there.
All right, thanks, Coach. Ben, let's talk about you. 5 for 11 for 104 yards, 3 touchdowns. How do you feel tonight?
I feel pretty good. Coach called a good game, and we just executed the plays well.
Now, how'd you guys bounce back from that first drive, 3 and out, and then you put up 44 unanswered?
Well, our defense got us pretty hyped. They were doing good, so we just knew we had to come out and score on that drive and get them going.
All right, thanks, Ben.
Thank you.
Thanks, Matt. Thanks, Ben. Thanks, Megan. 45-3, and let's take a look at these highlights from tonight.
Those are some Ben Seaver touchdown passes that you got a good look at the young man's arm right there.
I'm telling all of you that these highlights are unbelievable. That's why we're going to make you wait just a little bit longer.
Know why. Our knowledgeable sales staff know the brands, the products, and take time to get to know you and guide you to your perfect vehicle. And that experience continues with any of our 16 service locations and with trained advisors and technicians to help you maintain your vehicle. Experience the difference. Purchase with confidence. This is Woodhouse.
You're watching this week's Game Time on YurView, the Iowa Western Game of the Week. You have been emailing, you've been tweeting, you've been telling us we want to see these highlights. So you know what? We will deliver. 45-3 Skutt Catholic over Elkhorn. And here are the highlights from tonight, John.
All right, let's take a look at the second half. Most of the dominance in this one from Skutt came in that first half. But here's what happened in the second. Big sack to start proceedings in that second half, and it looked like the Elkhorn defense had some things shored up. Forced a Joey White field goal. Said, hey, maybe Elkhorn is back to play, but it just wasn't to be tonight. Defense did better in the second half, made a few plays, and the special teams reared its ugly head, and the first touchdown of the second half by Jared Epperson. That one on the fumbled punt snap. He would polish the night off with a 65-yard touchdown run. That was all she wrote. 45-3 Skutt with a huge victory here in enemy territory.
Pretty solid effort for Skutt to go to 3-1. Here are the stats from the night's game. They get a lot of balance for Skutt. Now the second half we got into a running clock, so some of these are skewed a little bit. But on the right side of the ledger, those 3 turnovers were pretty key.
Huge.
And only being able to run the ball late in the game when the outcome was decided. Elkhorn could not establish anything on the ground. Aiden Young, the freshman, who we talked a lot about before the game, met the Skutt defense.
Well, and you know, it was a big spot for him. A big game as a freshman, starting for one of the better teams in Class B. And I think you kind of saw some of those freshman jitters tonight. He put the ball on the turf, looked a little hesitant at times, but you know, he's a young guy and he's going to get better. And but he did show some flashes. We did see the things that they like about Aiden Young, and he's going to be around for a while.
45-3 Skutt over Elkhorn. A reminder that next week we are back in Class A. Omaha Westside takes on Omaha Central. That should be another fun one from downtown Omaha. Beautiful setting on the Central High campus. For our entire crew, for Megan Scolio, for John Schreiner, I'm Gary Sharp. Thanks for joining us tonight. Final score, 45-3 Skutt over Elkhorn. We'll see you next week with Game Time on YurView. Good night, everybody.